Let's just start a little bit about what Lydia Ko has been able to achieve. She has the most wins on tour since you stepped away from full-time competition. Give us a sense and a description of how you have seen her grow since the moments she came out to where she is now.
Well, I'm very, very proud of Lydia. I mean, she worked so hard, and she came out as a teenager, and she became #1 pretty quickly, and then, had some up and downs through her career, but she's always fought back. I mean, I see her quite a bit here at Lake Nona. She practices very hard, and but I think really what stands out with Lydia, other than her golf game, is just her personality. She's, very sweet, very caring, and I mean, she's very liked on the tour, and what she has done the last 12 months or so, it's been pretty amazing to see, because there's a lot of records on the line, and she's been able to pull through, and obviously getting into the LPGA Hall of Fame last year and winning a gold medal at the Olympics. I mean, those are just two of the highlights of many, but it's fun to see. She represents the sports very well, and so very happy for her.
She's such a fantastic face of the LPGA Tour. And speaking of the LPGA, Annika, one of the big topics that we've all been talking about the last couple of months is their search for the next commissioner. I know you made a case recently for Larry Scott. Now, he did have success as chairman and CEO of the Women's Tennis Association. A little bit of criticism, perhaps, from his time at the Pac-12 commissioner. But why do you think he would be a good fit for the job?
Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, the LPGA, they've hired a, headhunter firm. So it's really up to them what they want to do. I know they have some great candidates, and which is, I think, really shows the LPGA is a place where a lot of people want to be. I mean, I think people see the potential of the women's sport and how much more we can do moving forward. So first of all, that's very exciting. I've known Larry for, over 20 years, and I think he did really well at the, at the women's, circuit. And he worked a lot with Serena and Billie Jean King. And I think there's some similarities between, the LPGA and what he did there. So, but, like I said, I have nothing more than just sitting on the sidelines now and watching, and hopefully that they will pick the right person for this job. As you know, it's probably one of the hardest jobs in sport. There's so many moving parts, and you gotta get along with the players, you gotta get along with the caddies, you gotta get along with the fans and partners and sponsors. And I mean, it's really a complex job. So I really hope that they pick the right person for this job that can move the LPGA in the next direction that's needed.
You're right. It is going to take a very special person indeed. And Annika, I mean, regardless of who takes over, talking of the matrix and the puzzle and everything that needs to be dealt with, what in your mind is the most pressing issue that really needs to be solved immediately by the commissioner?
Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, I think the LPGA is in a good spot, and I think people who watch the game, they see the same thing. I think the players today are wonderful ambassadors of the game, and I mean, if I could be commissioner today, which I don't want to, but I mean, if you just wish, then I would just focus on, you got to be seen and you got to be heard. And how can you do that? It's obviously through TV and be able to, for the world to see their wonderful play. And, so I'm not a fan of tape delay, coverage, obviously, and we just need to be more in the forefront. When people talk about women's sport, LPGA needs to come to your mind, and so I think we need to be just in the right spot more often, and I think then people get more interested in it. So, but that's just one little part. That's the TV and the media rights. I mean, as you know, there's a lot more than that. You need a leader out there that can, get it right together. But again, I mean, I think the commissioners we have had, I think they've done a good job. They've tried, but it's just. I think everybody always wants a little more, and I think now women's sports is a time where we really can catapult in a different direction and really get these young ladies the recognitions and the purses and the tournaments that they deserve.
Yeah, last year we actually had some really special moments on the LPGA that put them in a spotlight that actually kind of transcended golf. One of which that comes to mind is your tournament in November when Caitlin Clark played in the Pro-Am and received national attention as a result. You said it there, but women's sport, we really are going through a kind of a movement, this big boom at the moment. How does the LPGA put themselves at the forefront of that and really capitalize on all of this attention that it's had recently?
Yeah, you're right. That was those photos. I mean, that makes me smile. We had a really good time with Caitlin, and great athlete, and what she's doing in her sport is fantastic. But also, what a nice person she is, and come out there and support us and bring all these young girls to golf. I think that was, a highlight. So again, I mean, I just want golf to be, in the conversation, whether it's at other events, and just, we need to be talked about. We need to be seen. And I mean, I know that takes work, but it's a lot of networking. It's a lot of mingling and hanging out with, the big girls and the big boys, if you know what I mean. So I think the potential is really there. I know that sponsors, they get a lot up when they engage with the LPGA, whether it's pro-ams or just players in general. They always walk away and it's almost like with a surprise, like, this was so great. Yeah, we've been trying to tell you that. It is, they do a lot. I mean, we talked about Lydia, and obviously Nellie's up there, the #1 and #2 players in the world, this very, very global sport, but they are so engaging, they're friendly, and, they really do a lot for the sport, and they're fun to watch, and they're super talented. So I think it's just bringing more people into the sport in different ways will hook them, and they will stay with us.
Yeah, Nelly on the red carpet at the Met Gala, and Lydia Ko on the front page of Vogue Career this month as well. Both of those things make such an impact on the sport. And Annika, just to shift topics onto another issue that's been widely discussed, pace of play, a big topic in the new year, both on the PGA and the LPGA Tour. But the LPGA, they did recently announce a new set of rules and potential punishments as well to govern pace of play. How much of an issue do you think pace of play is? And are you a believer in these new guidelines to improve it?
Well, I think the new guidelines will, time will tell, obviously, but I'm proud of them for pulling the trigger and doing something about it. I like to think I'm a fast player, and I think it's good for the sport that people move along. Nobody enjoys being out on a golf course for 5 to 6 hours. Life is too precious to just, not to play any faster than that. I mean, nobody enjoys its players, caddies, sponsors, and fans. So thank you to LPGA for doing something about it. We'll find out if it's good enough, if it's strong enough. I think, like I said, time would tell, but it's good that it's on the forefront. And obviously, this is something that the new commissioner would have to kind of look into and see if it needs to be adjusted. But, I think it really starts at an early level, really at junior level. It needs to be addressed, which it does with AJJ, does a good job. And then along the way, it kind of gets a little slow again. So I think we need to push it on every level, whether it's pro, amateur, or just in general. I mean, we got to set the pace, and because I think that's one of the things that make golf less attractive. I mean, not everybody has the time, so pace of play is really important to focus on.
And just finally, Annika, it's a big year this year for the LPGA, the 75th anniversary of the tour. How would you like to see the tour honoured, especially the founders, who we owe all of this to them? What would you like to see kind of this celebration look like over the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously telling the story is important, and then we are thankful for all the founders. I mean, really, if you think about it, what they did 75 years ago is pretty incredible, and here we are today. What we're able to experience thanks to their commitment and dedication. So continue to tell the stories, but then also tie it into today's players, and so that the future young ladies want to play this wonderful sport.
Annika Sörenstam, thank you so much for your time. We love to hear your insight and your memories, of course, of Mr. Arnold Palmer. So we really appreciate it, and we hope to see you very soon. Thank you.